Well, hello there, my friend. We meet again. Thank you very much for being here. My name's Gavin, and on this channel, we like to cut through fluff sensationalism. We very rarely head into Speculationville, though I kind of feel like tonight we might do that a little bit. Tonight, we are talking about the death of Hollywood legend Gene Hackman, who died at the age of 95 alongside his wife, Betsy Arakawa, in their Santa Fe home. Um, I wasn't going to do this case. I'm not really much on pop culture when it comes to the channel. I am a big fan of movies. But the 911 call that was released, and there it was a search warrant that was applied for and given by a district judge that said that things were suspicious enough that they wanted the search warrant. They wanted to look around. So while I don't know that anything is going on here that is truly nefarious, it's at least suspicious, and I think it's important that we go ahead and take a look at the search warrant. Just a little bit of background here. Gene Hackman, everybody knows his work, for crying out loud. The guy was, I think he won 2 Oscars. He was nominated 5 times, something like that. And he and his wife had been married for over 30 years. I think they got married in almost 30 years, 1996, something like that. They got married. When I heard this morning that Gene Hackman had died, I just kind of thought, well, yeah, Gene Hackman was old. He had not been active in a long time. He was definitely in his 90s. He's, yeah, good on him for living a nice long life. And then I went, oh, wait a minute. He died with his wife and their dog. That's a little bit suspicious. So I think where we're going to start, for those of you who are new around here, who haven't, been on the channel before, if you put GF in your comment on my side, it'll highlight it for me, and I like to go through comments as we go along. So, yeah, be sure to put GF in your comment. I think where we're going to start is the 911 call, which I know is out there. It was released by TMZ. It's about 2 minutes long. I think that it's probably the part that TMZ released is probably cut off a little bit, but most of the stuff is there. We can have a listen, kind of listen to what the circumstances are under which the bodies of Mr. Hackman and Ms. Arakawa were found, and then we will move into the search warrant. So I will just go ahead, and here's the 911 call.
Santa Fe 911, what is your emergency?
Hello, my name is the caretaker for Santa Fe Summit up here about past 10,000 waves. I think we just found one deceased person inside a house. What's the address here? There's no address. There's no address. I'm going to wait for you at the gate. I'm going to wait for you to please send somebody really quick.
Okay, what's going to be the address?
It's going to be down at the gatehouse. I'll meet you over there. I'll meet them over there. I'm the caretaker for the subdivision. I'm going to bring them up here.
Okay, give me 1 second. Let me speak with the paramedic.
Thank you.
Give me 1 second.
Damn.
Are you with the patient now?
Yeah, I'm over at their property. There's no address here. So I have to meet the ambulance or the police, whoever, down at the gatehouse. I'll bring them up here.
Okay. How old is the patient?
I have no idea.
You don't know? Okay, that's fine. Is the patient a male or a female?
A female and a male, probably. I don't know, sir. Just send somebody up here real quick.
Okay. Are they awake?
I have no idea.
Are they breathing?
I have no idea. I'm not inside the house. It's closed. It's locked. I can't go in. But I see them. She's laying down on a floor from the window.
Do they appear to be awake or alert?
No. It's not.
Okay. Are they moving at all?
No, dude, they're not moving. Just send somebody up here really quick.
Okay, my units are underway, okay?
I'm sorry?
My units are on their way right now. And
Okay, I'll meet them down at the gatehouse because they might not have a code.
you don't have like the actual address of the house of where this person lives?
I have no idea. There's no address. There's a reason why for that.
If you can get Peter now, please. Okay.
All right, so that's what was released. I could kind of hear in his voice, right? It's like, dude, just get it on. But I'm sure the dispatcher already had units rolling. I know that it's frustrating. I at least suspect that it's frustrating for people who call 911. Why are you asking me all these questions? Just get somebody going. And I think dispatchers they don't do a really good job of letting people know that, no, units are rolling. I'm just now going to ask you more questions, right? You could tell that he was really frustrated. You could tell that he was broken up. Turns out that he was the groundskeeper. He noticed the body of Ms. Arakawa on the floor, and yeah, that's that was his reaction. Now I saw Pineapple said, Gavin, the first thing I thought was carbon monoxide poisoning. I thought the same thing too. In fact, when I mentioned it to my wife this morning, hey, did you hear that Gene Hackman died? His wife and their dog died too. And she was like, ooh, gas leak? That's one of the original thoughts that I think all of us come to. But the search warrant kind of leaves out that possibility. And I know that there's talk online of, quoting Gene Hackman's daughter saying carbon monoxide poisoning and so forth. So I think the answer is, at least at the point that they looked at applying for the search warrant, they really didn't know. And so let's just go through the search warrant real quick. It's not very long. We can yada yada a bit of it, right? The first part is this is where we want the search warrant. It is this house. All right, here's some footage of the house from Sky 7 out there in New Mexico, some helicopter footage. So they lived out in this pretty ritzy area. Looks like a pretty darn big house, private, gated, which I'm sure that he needed in order to have any sort of privacy. But that is the first part of the affidavit. The second part is just, a little bit of, these are the kinds of things that we want to collect. So ignitable, flammable, explosive, or combustible substances, material apparently used and or intended to use in administering aid or assistance to injured people, any documents which may have appeared to be personal identifying information of Gene Hackman or Betsy Arakawa, narcotics, any other controlled substances. That would include, obviously, prescription drugs, documentation of the herein described premises persons. So they want video taken, photographs taken, that whole shebang. Just, the standard stuff that they're looking for. It kind of feels like they don't know what they're looking for, so they're just listing everything that they're looking for. All right. And then here are the facts that establish the grounds for the issuance of the search warrant. The first part is the affiant is Detective Roy Arndt. It just gives his bona fides, and this is why I, am empowered to ask for this. And then we get into statement of facts. Okay. By the way, I'll go ahead and put this on Patreon. It's pretty easily locatable online, but I'll put it on Patreon for those of you who support me over there to make it easier for you to get, okay? At approximately 1:43 p.m., says the affiant, on Wednesday, February 26th, this is yesterday, Santa Fe Regional Emergency Communications Center received a call for service regarding a reporting party locating two deceased individuals inside the residence of 1425 Old Sunset Trail, Santa Fe, New Mexico. I actually don't think that he ever saw the second body. I think he only saw her. That's what it sounded like to me. Though, I don't know. Maybe we only heard that first 2 minutes. Okay, so to be fair, maybe he saw both. Santa Fe County Patrol deputies Javier Barron and Joshua Thomas were then dispatched to the location to conduct a death investigation. When Deputy Thomas and Barone arrived, Deputy Thomas indicated he spoke to two individuals, one of which was the reporting party, who found and located the front door of the residence to be opened/ajar. Deputy Thomas identified the reporting party to be a male named Roland Lobigay. I'm sure I butchered that name, sir. I'm very sorry. Roland advised he works as maintenance work for a company called Home Company. The other maintenance worker was identified as Jesse Kessler. Deputy Thomas told the affiant after speaking to the two males, he and Deputy Barone then walked to the front of the residence and found the front door ajar. He advised he did not observe any signs of forced entry into the home. I think that's important, right? No signs of breaking in. After Deputy Thomas entered the residence, he immediately observed a bathroom to the left of the front door. The door to the bathroom was opened. Deputy Thomas advised he observed a deceased female lying on the ground near the countertop inside the bathroom. So this is not a bathroom that's like an ensuite to a bedroom. This is right at the front of the house. The female was observed laying on her right side. He advised she was found wearing dark gray sweatpants and a light in colored sweatshirt. The female was observed to have black in color hair. Obviously, I think, we're talking about Ms. Arakawa here. Deputy Thomas advised he observed a black in color space heater near the female's head. He advised he suspected the heater could have fallen in the event the female abruptly fell to the ground. He advised he also observed an orange prescription bottle on the countertop near the deceased female. The prescription bottle appeared opened with pills scattered on the countertop. So, not spilled onto the floor around her, just on the countertop. Deputy Thomas advised the female decedent showed obvious signs of death, body decomposition, bloating in her face, and mummification in both hands and feet. Mummification, by the way, guys, happens when, I'm sure you guys know this, but it has to do with like the quick drying of the human body. But last year I was in England, and my daughter and we went to the British Museum, and we found on display specimens of people tens of thousands of years old who just, in their particular case, when they died, their bodies dried extremely quickly. They became mummified. It's pretty crazy. Okay, so she's got dryness in her hands and feet. It's starting to mummify. The affiant learned Deputy Thomas and Barone continued to search the residence, where they then observed a deceased brown in color German Shepherd canine. The deceased canine was located approximately 10 to 15 feet from the deceased female in a closet of the bathroom. Deputy Thomas and Barone then proceeded to clear the other portions of the residence. In doing so, they observed a pair of feet and legs on the ground near the kitchen area. Deputy Thomas identified a male to be deceased in an area of the home he believed to be a mudroom. The deceased male, who was found wearing gray sweatpants, a blue in color long-sleeve t-shirt, brown slippers, and walking cane. I don't know if you guys have seen, I should have gotten one prepared, but he was 95 years old, right? He was an old man. Man, I want to be found in my soft pants like that. Anyway, Deputy Thomas indicated he observed a pair of sunglasses located near the decedent's, I think he messed up some words here, near the left of the decedent's body. Sunglasses near the decedent's left of his body. Okay. Based on Deputy Thomas's training and experience, he suspected the male individual has suddenly fallen. Deputy Thomas advised the male decedent also showed obvious signs of death, similar and consistent with the female decedent. Deputy Thomas advised that there were 2 other dogs located on the property. He advised one of the healthy dogs was initially observed near the deceased female inside the bathroom, and the other healthy dog was observed outside the residence. So if there would have been some kind of carbon monoxide poisoning or gas poisoning or something like that, one of the healthy dogs was inside. So either there wasn't some sort of gaseous poisoning, or that dog just got lucky, maybe was near the front door with it cracked open and was able to survive. I don't know. Yeah, the healthy one was in the bathroom with Ms. Arakawa. The other one was outside the residence. Deputy Thomas advised he and Barone searched the remainder of the property and found all other buildings and the garage to be locked and secured. Deputy Thomas again advised. So that is kind of strange, right? That the front door was unlocked and ajar. Everything else was locked up. Deputy Thomas again advised he did not observe any signs of forced entry into the residence. He indicated he did not observe any indication the residence had been rummaged through or items were taken from inside the residence. He advised based on his training and experience, nothing appeared to be, quote, out of place, close quote, while clearing the residence. Deputy Thomas indicated he asked Roland and Jesse when they last had contact with the homeowners, and they both advised it was approximately 2 weeks prior. Both individuals advised they rarely saw the owners of the residence when conducting routine maintenance on the home. Both indicated they maintained contact with the homeowners through text message and phone calls, and primarily communicated with the female homeowner identified as the deceased female, as Betsy Arakawa, age 61. Oh no, born in 1961. What was that? Give me a second. So 2025 minus 1961. So she's between 63 and 64 years old. I think she's 63. These 2 males identified Betsy's husband as Gene Hackman, or Eugene Allen Hackman, born in 1930. However, did not positively identify him as the deceased male. At this time, the male's true identity is unknown until further investigative research can be conducted. Okay. I think that's fair to say in the warrant application. Deputy Thomas and Detective Joel Cano advised Santa Fe City Fire Department responded to the location and conducted testing to determine if there were signs of possible carbon monoxide leak or poisoning. He advised the fire department did not locate signs of a carbon monoxide leak or poisoning. Those firefighters were identified as Captain Daniel Laranaga, firefighter Adrian Perea, and engineer firefighter Anthony Raffliff. Affiant learned New Mexico Gas Company responded to the residence and was conducting active testing on the gas line in and around the residence. Those individuals were identified as David Balizan and Thomas Barrera. As of now, there are no signs or evidence indicating there were any problems associated to the pipes in and around the residence. So yeah, it seems like some kind of gaseous poisoning is unlikely. Of course, this is the beginning of the investigation. We got to say that, right? This application was written yesterday. Affiant spoke to Corporal Alexandria Hancock, who advised the parcel of land and residence belonged to the trustee of Edgar Gross. She obtained this information from a company identified as OnX, which offered GPS mapping for hiking, hunting, and off-roading events. Affiant conducted research and found that the Santa Fe County tax parcel website revealed the owner or the property was owned by Edgar F. Gross. I don't know who Mr. Gross is. I didn't do the research for that. I should have done that before we started, but I didn't have the time. So, not sure who that is. Maybe one of you in the comments can tell us who that is. Affiant is aware through training and experience, individuals exposed to gas leaks or poisonous gas can suffer immediate and unexpected death. So he's like, maybe it's a possibility. Who knows? Affiant is aware through training and experience that individual exposed to poisonous gas might not show apparent injuries. The search for and collection of items listed above to include biological material, trace evidence, or latent fingerprints at the residence can assist with the determination of the cause of death. So they're going to be fingerprinting the place. That's great. I yada-yada'd too much earlier. There are no immediate signs or indications of blunt force trauma. However, Affiant is seeking to seize any blunt force objects in the event there is any indication of blunt force trauma once the Office of Medical Investigations arrives on scene and conducts their initial field investigation and possible cause of death. Oh, that would be interesting if that's what it turned out to be, that somebody came in. Of course, if somebody came in but didn't take anything, then again, maybe they were going for a very specific thing. They didn't ransack the place because they knew what they were getting. I don't know. I don't know. This could be gas poisoning. It could be that Mr. Hackman fell. She went to go, I don't know, get his medication and tripped and fell herself. There's so many possibilities here, right? It's all speculation at this point. Okay, at this time, the manner and cause of death pertaining to Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa's passing is unknown. Affiant believes that the circumstances surrounding the death of the two deceased individuals to be suspicious enough in nature to require a thorough search and investigation because the reporting party found the front door of the residence unsecured and opened. Deputies observed a healthy dog running loose on the property, another healthy dog near the deceased female, a deceased dog laying 10 to 15 feet from the deceased female in a closet of the bathroom, the heater being moved, the pill bottle being opened, and pills scattered next to the female. Now he's saying next to the female. Does that mean on the floor? Because before it was just on the counter, but it doesn't matter. Okay. The male decedent being located in a separate room of the residence and no obvious signs of a gas leak. At this time, Affiant believes there is sufficient probable cause for the issuance of this search warrant. Any evidence collected would corroborate or refute statements made by those associated to the investigation and would assist law enforcement in determining the cause and manner of death. And then that is signed by Roy Arndt from the Sheriff's Office. Okay, let's go over to your comments. I want to see what you guys think. So give me a second to get things refreshed. Okay. Gail says, Gavin, the dog didn't fall, so not adding up yet. Yeah, the one deceased dog and then the living dog. I mean, is it possible the deceased dog like lapped up a bunch of pills or something like that, and therefore the other dog survived? Is it possible that happened? Scorpion says, Gavin, do they know or do they have any idea how long they were dead for? Maybe there was a gas leak when they died. I don't know. I'm just thinking since their hands were mummified. Yeah, let's see. First, answer your question. There's no indication. They have not released any indication as to a date of death. Determining a date and time of death is actually way more difficult than it looks like in the movies, right? There are three components of it. There's livor mortis, algor mortis, and rigor mortis. And sometimes if there has been, I think, what do they call that? They don't call it a delta. They call it the basically it's the amount of time since the passing. If that is too long, they really aren't able to give a very good estimate of the time of death. I know that we see on TV all the time, they like stick a thermometer in a liver and go, oh, well, time of death is approximately 9:24 a.m. Yeah, that doesn't happen that way in real life. So yeah, I would imagine what they would do is they would look at the decomposition. They would have some sort of idea. My guess is sometime in the last 2 weeks, right? Because that was the last time the maintenance crew was there. I don't know. Texas Surfer says Gross is an attorney, I think. And that makes sense that there would be some trust that an attorney would, for privacy purposes, not put in the name of the owners. The trustees would be the beneficiaries of that trust, and I'm sure that's how it's set up. Susie Pittman said, murder, self-unaliving, whatever we want. YouTube's funny this way, guys. Sorry we have to be this way, but out of love. Oh, as in, oh no, I don't know. To me, this one does not scream that. Usually that would be released pretty darn quickly. Now, is it possible that maybe Mr. Hackman at the age of 95 fell and he died because of the fall? Or he fell because he died? One of those two things. And Ms. Arakawa couldn't stand the idea of living without him, and she went and ate a bunch of pills or something like that. Is that possible? Yeah, it's purely speculation at this point. But it is suspicious enough that I'm glad that they're looking into it. Let's see if there are any other. Oh, here's a good comment, I think. Didn't have my initials on it, but if they said it was carbon monoxide and it had been weeks, they wouldn't detect it. Yeah, especially if the door had been open, right? Maybe the interior was okay at that point. I was thinking, if there is some type of carbon monoxide poisoning, I think that there is enough damage that is done to the lungs that they would be able to tell that through autopsy, even though the amount of time that has passed would be long. Yeah, great comments. I think the 911 caller, I don't think he said that it was locked. He was just saying that he was looking through the window, right? Maybe he found that it was unlocked and ajar after he got off the phone, or maybe, TMZ didn't release the whole thing, I don't think. It does not say what kind of pills they were. Were there doggy doors? Man, that is a great question. I don't know. Maybe dogs were in and out of there. Great comments, guys. You guys are pretty awesome. But if it had been weeks, how did the dog survive with no food or water? Wow. Again, a great question. There might be several possible answers, but let me give you a personal experience that I had. I one time was interviewing for my day job as a reporter. I was interviewing the county coroner. We were at a coffee shop in town. She gets a call for a death investigation, and she says, do you want to come along? Sure. So we go to a neighboring town about 10, 12 minutes away. The police are there. They've got a dog kind of tied up to a rail. Not like, but the lead attached to a rail so the dog couldn't get away, and the dog was lapping up water. And we go inside, and there is a deceased man that had been there for days. And there was dog and cat scat everywhere. And indeed, in the hallway, a cat had died, like it had died of dehydration or malnutrition, but the dog survived. So who knows? Sometimes, I don't know, dogs can get into the toilet, or they have a bowl that, auto replenishes, stuff like that. I don't know. But it's a great question, and I'm sure that's a question that investigators are asking right now. Yeah, pretty cool. Great comments. Kathleen says, Gavin, one thing, the fact that the German Shepherd was locked in a closet kind of proves there was an intruder that locked up that dog before they did the crimes. Was it locked in a closet? Let me look. I want to make sure that I understand. Closet is mentioned. Another healthy dog near the deceased female. A deceased dog laying 10 to 15 feet from the deceased female in a closet of the bathroom. It doesn't say whether, and then the deceased canine was located approximately 10 to 15 feet from the deceased female in a closet of the bathroom. It doesn't say whether the door was closed or not. Like it was locked in, but possibly, I mean, if it was locked in, if it was shut into a closet, that would be an indication of some kind of intruder. I think that's fair, Kathleen. I think that's a good observation. Scorpion says, yes, there was a doggy door. One dog dead, 2 dogs alive. One was outside. But, I mean, I would imagine there is a doggy door, but where is the evidence that you're pointing to, Scorpion, that there was a doggy door? Another content creator has Gene Hackman's daughter as a guest on his show right now. But I'm staying with you, Gavin, unless my family needs me, then I have to run. Well, thank you. We've only got a couple more minutes here. Kathleen says an intruder was there. That's how the dog got locked in the closet. Again, I'm not sure that the dog was locked in the closet. I just know that the dog was in the closet. Joanne Marie says, if the door was ajar, maybe it had been opened before the death so the dogs could go out and do their business. Possible. Corey says, I bet there's water somewhere in the property as well. I think you're right. One man's trash knew someone whose dog ate them to survive. Not trying to be gross, but it happens. Yeah, it does happen. Dogs are clever that way. And then Kathleen says, just closing the door to the closet locked them in. Again, I'm not sure that the door was even closed. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. It might have been. It may have been. But anyway, guys, thanks for joining me tonight. We will keep an eye on this. I'm very curious about this. To me, it is suspicious enough to keep following this case. I am hopeful that there wasn't any, criminal activity going on there. I just don't like the idea of 2 older folks dying at the hand of some criminal. I mean, either way, they've passed away, which also is lame. Hold on a second. What do we got here? ABC News article said there was a doggy door. Okay, thank you. Yeah, and Kathleen, I'm following. Yeah, they wouldn't have to lock the closet door to lock the dog in. I follow. I just don't know that the door was closed or open. Panda Ann, my dogs close doors all the time. One dog could have gone in the closet and the other one accidentally pushed the door closed if the door is closed. We had a dog, in fact, can you see this dog right there? He was our first family dog. His name is the Marshall White-Eared Fish. He was a good boy. Not a smart boy, but a good boy. Anyway, in our first home, the door to our daughter's room, oh my goodness, this dog, it was an old house and the door just never stayed open. If you opened it, it would slowly close. And Marshall loved hanging out with our daughter, who's our oldest, but at the time was just a baby. And so he would go in that room. And even if she wasn't in there, he would go in to check on her. And, he'd use his muzzle to bump the door open, going inside, then it would close. And then he would never make a peep. Like, we would wonder, like, have we seen Marshall in a while? It's been a long time since we've seen Marsh. And we go back, and sure enough, we'd open up the bedroom door, and he'd be sitting there patiently just waiting for us to get him. So yes, of course. Yeah, the dog could have been quote unquote locked in there or kept in there, but I do not know. Guys, okay, so there's my little personal anecdote. Hey, we will continue tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Come on back if you like this kind of content. Please head over to my website, gavinfish.com. I always put a link over to that in the description below. One of the things I would point to on the website is there's a Crime Cod article that I'm really proud of Jacob for writing that headline. You're in trouble. Content creator arrested for allegedly contaminating grocery items with pee. So there's some good articles over there. Go ahead and check those out. And then join us on the Fish Tank over on Facebook if that's your thing. We like to talk about all things true crime. Just go over to the Fish Tank and search Gavin Fish. You will find me. With that, guys, thank you for being here. I bid you adieu until the next. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked, take care. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below.